you're not as gobsmacked.
Right.
Whereas back in the day,
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at, I remember, honestly, and this is kind of embarrassing as a gamer, but I remember being a youngster and I didn't really understand that, video game machines would happen one after another.
Right.
I thought that, whatever was out and that was it. And I remember seeing Mario Brothers 3 for the first time and thinking, legitimately thinking, it doesn't get prettier than that.
Yeah.
Like, it can't get better than that.
Yeah.
And clearly I was wrong, but I mean, that was kind of the freshness of the industry at the time. And now...
Yeah. Everything looks pretty nowadays. It's just everything plays pretty nowadays.
Yeah. Some people... I don't know about this, because a lot of people... Like, I was over at his house the other day, and he's got these really pretty intense tactical shooters. And this is, in America, stateside, this is the genre right now. And they're really advanced.
Yeah.
So what they do is, they call into play, 10, 12 buttons, some really interesting large and small scale tactical thinking. And arguably that makes for better gameplay, but for someone like myself,
Well,
I get lost.
It does and it doesn't. We're good polar opposites here. That whole strategic, team-based military squad thing is kind of lost on you.
Yeah.
I was in the military, in
Gotcha.
strategic team-based squad missions, and to me, it's just like, you're kidding me, right? So it's like, it's that opposite. Like, you have to be right in the middle. You have to be wanting to play something like that and cut off the, I guess, factor.
Sure.
Someone who's been there is just like, no, that's not how it would happen at all.
I see what you're saying. So they don't really hold up to...
They do and they don't. It's just certain scrutiny doesn't... It's a game.
Sure,
There's just certain scrutiny that just wouldn't add up.
Interesting.
So
Interesting.
You look at it and you're like, well, I'll just do this, and they won't give you that option.
Yeah.
Maybe because you see things a little differently, but I mean, it's just the way they are. They're fine for what they are. They're just not as in depth as being there.
So
it's a game. So
with your personal history, do you find this genre as enticing? I mean, do you like this genre?
I do not.
You don't?
Because of how limited it is.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of depth. They're getting a lot better.
Yeah.
You look at the old like say Medal of Honor series, which is more of a first-person shooter, mind you.
Oh, definitely.
But it tried to incorporate, like back in the PlayStation era.
Yeah, the first one.
They tried to incorporate a lot more of the elements of real war.
Yeah.
You get shot, you're gonna die.
Yes.
You're not gonna go to regen your shield in the corner or something like that.
Right.
But they're getting better, but they'll never be there. But that's just fine. I mean, I can't have that complaint and then go and play a racing game for the same reasons,
Yeah, I see. Now that's one where the realism that these games have nowadays, I actually get a little it's a little intimidating. I find myself as I age getting understanding more and more the non-gamer, specifically the parent. Because there's just so much happening that, like, my little cousins, I played Guitar Hero 3 this past Christmas. I went over to my grandparents, or my aunt's house, my aunt's and uncle's house, and, my young cousins were there, and they were rocking it out. And this is a simple game in theory, but it's very complicated in practice. And that's how I feel about the new first-person shooters and everything. And I'm just getting totally outranked. I mean, my 5-year-old cousin, honestly, she whooped my ass. And I felt totally cool with it. I was very impressed that anyone that young could actually have her fingers hit that.
Right.
But for me, the plug and play mentality is, I think, were it not for Nintendo right now, it would be a thing of the past.
I think that's one of the appeals of the DS.
Absolutely.
I mean, you turn it on and 20 seconds later you're playing a game. But, again, I guess polar opposites here. You take something like Guitar Heroes or something like that.
Yeah.
Now, I've been current with the harder aspects of gaming right now. I'm from that age, the challenge age, not the experience age. Games nowadays are about providing experience, which is fine.
Yeah.
You know how old arcade games were designed. They were designed to keep money coming into the system.
Yeah, quarter crunchers.
And the easy way to do that is to make the game hard.
Ridiculously hard.
That challenge the gamer, get your money,
with no official ending.
Yeah, you get very baby steps. You eventually will get somewhere, but it's baby steps. Yeah. And those baby steps cost a quarter every time.
Yeah.
That mindset, kind of went into the earlier console games. It's like, let's keep pushing. Well, the scores got smaller, and eventually just phased out altogether.
Yeah.
Although in a way, I look at achievement points as scores.
They are, absolutely.
That's a different story.
It's
but I kept that whole, I want to be challenged mind frame. Like when Devil May Cry 3 came out, I heard so many people complain about how hard that game was.
It's hard as hell.
I didn't find it hard at all.
Did you? You didn't really?
No, like the first level, the first 2 levels is like, okay, well, I see this. Again, I'm big into game design now.
Okay.
It's like, okay, I see what they did here. Kept playing. I've been playing fighting games. I'm more well-rounded. I know a lot of people who play racing games that don't touch sports games.
Sure.
Or a lot of people who play sports games won't touch first-person shooters.
Sure.
I touch everything as much as I can. So, you know, playing Devil May Cry 3, I was like, okay, it's basically like a fighting game. No big deal. I'm good at fighting games. So after like 2 or 3 levels, I was like, no, this isn't hard at all. It's just a steady. Ninja Gaiden is a good example of that.
Yeah.
Everybody was up in arms about Ninja Gaiden. I just felt it was a decent challenge. You know,
yeah.
I'm not rusty. My muscles haven't atrophied. There's a lot of atrophying going on.
Yeah.
In the gaming era right now. So, Guitar Hero is another example. Guitar Hero is too easy. But you've seen what I play. So,
yeah. He plays really advanced rhythm games, which is an interesting thing. Do you think? I mean, what are your thoughts as an old school kind of hardcore appreciates the old rivalries versus new rivalries? What do you think when you talk to new gamers?
I'm a little disappointed.
Like when you go to game shops, do you engage in conversation?
Not anymore. Yeah, and it's interesting too. Not just in game shops. There's a few things that I think have led to this. One is the whole internet age.
Okay.
Where it used to be to know what you're talking about, you had to know what you were talking about, because in the presence of someone, if you had information that you made up or weren't sure on, or secondhand information in the presence of people who knew what they were talking about, you'd get laughed at the shop.
Yeah.
You would get laughed off the playground or wherever else you were.
Yeah.
But nowadays, you don't have to know anything. You can just Google it.
Yeah.
Wikipedia it.
Yeah.
Go to Kotaku. Go to whatever website you need, and boom, there's the information right there.
Right.
You don't have to wait months. And when Street Fighter 4 was, when Street Fighter 4 was announced, there was already videos online. Yeah. People had stolen screenshots. It was like, oh, look, I can look like an expert right now, here and there, without knowing the culture behind it. It's just that simple. And a lot of new gamers, they don't care about what happened before, and that's fair, because I mean, I like new cars, I really do. I can't appreciate the aesthetics of older cars. I'm not going to drive an older car.
No. Yeah, I feel you on that.
So it's like, I'll give a perfect example. I was in a game store not too long ago, and I heard these kids talking, and that's one of the things too. We're kids, we've grown up.
Yeah,
there's actual kids now.
Yeah,
there's kids that were born when the Genesis came out,
which is crazy.
Yeah, they're out buying and playing games now, and probably beating you online.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like, wait, what happened? 27 years old.
Yeah, right.
Not an old man by any stretch.
Right, no.
But I mean, I've been playing games since '85, '86. You know, that's 23 years.
Yeah,
right there.
Right.
That's an entire lifespan right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially in terms of game. I went from 8-bit to this.
Yeah.
That's it. That's everything.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was in a game store, and I guess these kids maybe were 13, 14 years old, sitting there talking, and they were talking about Zelda.
Okay.
The venerable Zelda series. Everybody knows and loves Zelda, right?
Oh, Zelda, yes.
And this kid goes, he says, yeah, this wasn't as good as Zelda 2. And
how old's this kid?
Maybe 14, maybe 13 or 14.
Ooh, interesting.
But wait till this next line. He goes, oh, you mean Majora's Mask?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I just kind of went, oh, God.
For those of you who don't know, the reason that's sadly comical is because Zelda 2 is an NES game. Came out after the original, and Zelda Majora's Mask actually was the second game on the N64 about 3 generations later.
Yeah, it's, I mean, that's when they were growing up, like the N64 in a lot of ways for a lot of kids that age was their NES.
Absolutely.
So it's just really
family friendly, multiplayer. I know a lot of kids who really know the 64 quite well.
Yeah.